raise your card high. With all nations for and non-nations against this motion passes. This committee will move into a moderate caucus until 11:15. Delegates wishing to speak, please raise your placard high. Delegate of India, you have been recognized.
We discussed earlier with the country nations of America and also other many countries. So what we came out is in a two big sections. So first, in a short term, we're going to make a partnership with other organizations to maximize the uses of the original organizations such as World Health Organization, World Bank, IMF, and World Trade Organization. And in the long term, we're going to think about reforming about the World Health Organization or other organizations to prepare for the other pandemics in the future that can occur. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. All those delegates wishing to speak, please raise your placard high. Delegate of Russian Federation, you have been recognized.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, fellow delegates. The delegate of the Russian Federation was extremely happy to discuss with like-minded democracies such as Japan, Brazil, India, Italy, United Kingdom, United States, and the Philippines about how we should further cooperate and head on into the post-COVID-19 world. This delegate fully agrees with the consensus that delegates should work on short-term and long-term solutions to deal with the current crisis. And this delegate believes focusing on the short-term issues of medical supplies and medical cooperation and the long-term issues of economic cooperation and reform, systematic reform of existing problematic institutions. This delegate expects such cooperation would be very fruitful in forming a much better post-COVID-19 global international order. He's happy to cooperate. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate of Russian Federation. All those delegates wishing to speak, please raise your placard high. Delegate of Japan, you have been recognized.
Thank you, Delegate of India and Delegate of Russian Federation, for summarizing what we have discussed during the Military Caucus. This delegate was also delighted to find out that a lot of nations here were like-minded in the idea of international cooperation in regard to today's agenda. And this delegate would like to further emphasize that our suggested solution will be divided into two sectors, which will be on the short-term solutions to deal with the pandemic itself, including the distribution of medical supplies and etc., and the long-term solutions, which will deal with the economic crisis in the long run and the cooperation coming up with regional and international cooperation mechanism. This delegate would like to call upon other nations who have not participated in our discussion during the Military Caucus. If you are interested, this delegate highly encourages the delegates to send a note to this delegate or delegate of India or delegate of Russian Federation or other nations who have interest to encourage the
Delegate, your time has elapsed. Please take your seat. Delegates who is wishing to speak, please raise your placard high. Delegate of China, you have been recognized.
After talking to the delegates in the Military Caucus, we were happy to listen to all the delegates' opinions, and we were happy that we had a lot of supporters. And now that we have listened to what Russia and Japan and India had to say, if we go for a practical route, such as what they say, we totally agree on the short-term and long-term. However, what they mentioned before, and we must remember this, was their protective democracy. This kind of creates shifts, and it kind of creates clashes among nations. And we believe as China that right now what is important to us is economy, and because that is what unites us all. But however, if we go for a very political route, not only is it intangible, but it is also too vague of an idea to go for. So we believe as China that we must unite as an economic partnership with the developing and developed countries in order to fight this pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you, the delegate of China. Delegates wishing to speak, please raise your placard high. Delegate of the United States, you have been recognized.
Thank you, Chair. This delegate would like to ask for clarification from the supporters of the new Seoul Consensus in that what would the Seoul Consensus be able to do that the WHO cannot do? And what is the substantial difference between the Seoul Consensus and the WHO? And also, this delegate would like to state that although the creation or a reform of the WHO was democratic and green.
Furthermore, in response to the delegate of US's comments, this delegate fully agrees. This delegate would like to refer to the fact that the United States of America has recently left the World Health Organization, and that means the US feels a problem with the World Health Organization. This delegate believes that the Seoul Consensus can be an alternative with short-term ideas such as rapid response, medical supply, and a fair leadership. The Seoul Consensus right now is a blank slate. It is a white paper that would need inputs of many different countries on what they wish and what they want. This delegate would like the U.S. to further put its input and ideas into the Seoul Consensus, which Russia would happily cooperate. Ideas like economic cooperation. Russia also fully agrees with the United States, and thus such ideas can be included.
Delegate, your time has elapsed. Please take your seat. Delegates wishing to speak, please raise your placard high. Delegate of China, you have been recognized.
We highly agree with what the delegate of Iran said. Making a whole new organization is not only financially risky, it also risks it's very risky politically and also financially. Thus we propose as a people's proposal of China to kind of cooperate with the RCEP, the economic factor that we all have, and the health organizations, and improve on the measures that are taken and our policies, so that it will prove to be more efficient. However, making a whole new organization is not feasible. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegates wishing to speak, please raise your placard high. Delegate of Vietnam, you have been recognized.
So worrying about the WHO because that's the long-term solution. However, what we have mentioned is about the short-term solution. So India, I believe we firstly need to talk about how if we're going to have a partnership with other organizations, what could be the specific solution? Because about the reforming the World Health Organization, because the Russia said it's a whole blank, we can discuss about it later after we solve this pandemic solution. So I think what we need to focus now is about how the specific policies with another organization.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegates wishing to speak, please place your placard high. Delegate of Philippines, you have been recognized.
Thank you, Chairs and honorable delegates. We are pleased to hear your opinions about short-term actions and long-term actions, and we fully agree with delegates of India, Japan, and Russia, because we are not only talking about long-term actions, not about reformation of existing organizations, but we are also focusing on current economic status and many victims of COVID-19. So we are here to listen to more opinions about how to solve the current issues that are relevant to our society. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegates. Delegates wishing to speak, please raise your placard high. The Delegate of Republic of Korea have been recognized.
Thank you, Chair. And additional explaining of the Indian Federation. So last on the caucus, we talked about the RCEP. So everybody think the local organization is important, like EU or sometimes NAFTA, now USMC, but Republic of Korea want to emphasize the much more bigger FTA system, more than NAFTA and EU. So after making the RCEP system,
What the delegate of Russian Federation has raised was more of a regional cooperation mechanism rather than creating a new organization from the base. So this delegate would like to emphasize that it will be more of a regional cooperation mechanism that incorporates most of the European and Asian countries that are willing to cooperate in this situation. And also to address the concerns of delegates of Vietnam, we are willing to prepare a short-term
Delegate, your time has elapsed. Please take your seat. Delegates wishing to speak. Delegate of Sweden, you have been recognized.
The delegate of Sweden agree with short and long solution and open for discussion.